And if I can quickly get my second screen working, I can tell you who's going to be playing in the next game. Hardware malfunctions, apparently. Name of the game for me today.
Yeah, we are looking at the map draft. Sorry, that is wrong. It is right. But in the meantime, Deers having the first pick. First ban. They decide to move Cursed Hollow and Sky Temple. Well, we have from the other side ban against Battlefield of Eternity and Volskaya Foundry. Abyss picked, which we already talked before a little bit. It is Outtrack Pass coming in to talk a little bit about the Junkrat.
Could be something we see on this map. Yes, certainly is very good buying time around the objective and poking. So could be a thing. It remains to be seen. Now, meanwhile, I've got some stats for you, the nerds at home watching Heroes of the Storm. Honk Goose criminals, not to be mistaken with Hong Kong Gooses. They are a Division 3 team, and they currently sit at second spot in the division after the group stages. Very convincing performances, 8 wins out of, I believe, 10 matches, so top of the division there. And on the other side, do you have any stats for Deers?
We are about to start into the game, by the way.
Okay, never mind.
If you're already going in, Outtrack Pass is game number 1 of the second best of 3 series today between Honk, Goose, Criminals and Deers. On the side of Deers, we've got a Finnish team. And if you are interested into a Finnish cast, we also got this online right now with Myrmidon and his co-caster on HOTS Finland.
And first ban coming out, Garrosh. He is, as Karis would say, a gimmick. I would say he is a danger. What do you think?
Can be both. Can be both. Another ban from the side of Deers. It is we've got, by the way, on launch 2 the game between Bob and Hotsy, between Band of Brewers and Team Hots, and Hotsy is 1-0 in the lead so far.
And we see an under inbound from Honk, Goose, Criminals, which is not that surprising. Under indeed is a very meta healer, right up there in the top 3 with Rhaegar and Malfurion. Got a lot of playmaking potential, especially for a healer with that leap of faith, so I'm not surprised to see him ban. Let's see what Deers respond to with a second ban. Is Sylvanas.
Sylvanas coming out really strong on this map to push together with the objective, but keep in mind, Junkrat is left open, who is excellent at stalling the objective, and we also see the Xud left open, who was banned in the last 2 games, and there we go. Xud is the first pick for Outtrack Pass.
And for those of you that don't know, I've been living under a rock. Xud got buffed recently by Blizzard, and they made him strong. I mean, he's not, don't get me wrong, he's not overpowered or anything, but right now he's very good. Now, that's not a small 3-lane map, so he can't as easily double soak. Is that a thing here on this map? Do you know?
If tons of Wave Click Xul had, you can double soak, but you're through being in a long rotation, you can be ganked there quite a lot. You have to be careful there. Also in terms of defending, he's amazing. But on the other side, we've got Deers already taking out one of the strongest combos in the game right now with Anna Li Ming. The nano boost onto Li Ming to give her some extra spell power and a little bit of cooldown reduction, which does not matter too much for her. As with this extra spell power, she's able to go in and get some nice kills. And with the reset, she has everything ready immediately again.
And the answer to that dangerous blow up combo is Rhaegar Reyna, which in a way it makes sense. Reyna has a self heal, so you can stay a bit alive, perhaps tank an extra ability from Li Ming if he finds himself out of position or under focus from the mage. And Rhaegar is, I mean, other than the fact that he's got a cleanse at 7, so even if Anna did get a very good sleep, he can cleanse it. That Ancestral is going to be great in terms of saving the primary target in a big team fight, which could theoretically prevent Li Ming from getting her first reset. And if she doesn't get her first reset, chances are she's not going to get any resets.
Talking about saving a target, we also see the Blaze Band coming out from the side of the so removing this possibility to go into the bunker place. And on the other side, we see Honk, Goose, Criminals removing the Thrall. It's a little bit of weird for me. I think it's okay, especially against Xul, because Thrall lacks some wave clear in the solo lane, so Xul is having a lot of fun against him. But on the other side, Thrall has this Earthquake, which is just amazing for a team fight. And having all of the opponents slowed and the Nano Ming hurts a lot. But talking about all of the opponents are slowed, we see Rexa ETC coming in from Deer. So Rexa possibly with the Boars, which slow everyone in the opponent team. And ETC with the Mosh Pit can also go set up some nice kills for Li Ming.
I mean, there's one thing that makes it worse for you to play against. I mean, there's one thing that makes Li Ming being nano boosted more terrifying, is you being stuck in a mosh pit dancing. It's just not a great position to be in, and that's why we'll probably see Force out with that instantaneous gust for the interruption. If Honk, Goose, Criminals get in a bad fight, they've got that reset button.
This button could definitely help. Also, we see Merlin coming out. We saw him in the last game as well, able to take a little bit of poke and then just disengage health again with this straight second win, or maybe third win if he opts to go for it on level 1. And the last pick from the side of Deers is the Lunara, so a very heavy poke hero. Drops the opponents very low, and then Ming is there with the nano boost to be able to jump in and screen and kill everybody off with the resets.
Should we get some predictions in the chat?
I don't have any betting today. Sorry, betting this game. Maybe someone can set it up. I'm not prepared myself to do it.
I don't even know how to do it, so hey, if someone else can handle it, it's great. If not, it's fine. We're almost into the game anyways.
It is.
So what about you, Sammy? Could you
really like the draft of Deers in this game with the enemy Lunara and also the Rexa in the solo lane, as I just the solo lane main, and you know, I like Rexa there. I like Rexa.
Yeah, Rexa is great. He's seen a lot of more play recently, and I love it. And here we go, Ultrac Bass, game number 1 in the series of Deers against Honk, Goose, Criminals.
And we start
on the left.
We start on the right side with the Honk, Goose, Criminals.
Okay.
Sidonian on the false start, Azikan on the Xul Eruka, on Rhaegar Tule on the Reyna, and Hat playing the Muradin.
And on the left side in blue playing for Deers, we've got Mai on Rexa, Buoki on the healer Anna, Sephiro on ETC, potentially with the Grey Mosh Pits, Geben on Li Ming, and a very hard to pronounce name for Lunana. I'll give it my best. Legiona. I'm sorry, I can't read that. Don't kill me. There you go. Yeah, that one. He's playing Lunara. I'm sorry.
Always those names you can't pronounce.
There's always that one name.
I think Xul will probably. I'm not sure if Xul will win the solo lane against the Rexa if Rexa plays good. Anyways, we've got the first damage in the mid, and we've got also the also, by the way, from Honk, Goose, Criminals, so they're having the global advantage. He's immediately going towards the bottom lane, as we see the objective is in the top side.
Yep, the idea is he can stay a few extra waves when the objective spawns. He can soak bot and then fly in, join whenever he's needed. And Rexa suddenly in a bit of a brawl against two enemy players. He's falling very low, but Zoo also took an orb to the face. He's retreating and out. Murden's stuck in a bit of an awkward position, but fortunately Rhaegar's there to bail him out of trouble.
We've got in the bottom now Lunera against Fossa, which is a little bit favored for Lunera. When it's the... I think it's still a better player wins lane up, because Fossa you don't want to take too much damage, but on the other side as Fossa you have to go in and go for the damage on Lunera to kill her.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, especially after level 4 when Forza gets his hammer gains on the lifesteal basic attack regeneration. He's going for a very aggressive dive, and they're both currently sitting on 25% HP. We might see a kill on bottom lane soon.
Talking about the other lanes as well a little bit, we've got in the meantime Anaming for the blue team doing the siege cam as HGC. Honk
Zill's in trouble on top. Easy. Oh, easy. He is safe.
Looking at talent so far, we see the season marksman by the way from Falstad coming in. Also interesting to see Shade from Soul looking for the evade, but the increased cooldown onto the bone armor.
Meanwhile, Lunara was forced to back off on bottom, leading Honk Goose to picking up a slight, well, I would have said slight advantage in XP, but it seems like they've already fallen behind in XP a bit, so perhaps they were able to catch up a bit, get a breather. Okay, first objective, here it comes. Rhaegar was left on, Rhaegar was left on mid, but he gets out. And Ming's a bit overextended, but she's got that E that lets her teleport out. You make a position of her, it's fine, just teleport out the trouble, easy peasy.
Now we've got the prisoners on top lane, unblocked in 5 seconds. The team's Oris starting to look at the siege camps again, as you see from the red team already started with Exterminator.
Looks like there's a rotating for the siege camp, which could potentially... Actually, never mind. Honk Goose criminals, they're on the camp already. They're actually 3 seconds ahead, which means they will have a very, very slight window of opportunity to look for that enemy objective. If so, of course, doesn't die on top. No, he's fine. He just walks out bravely. And here they go for that blue objective. Goose criminals, Reyna's distracting with Muradin, and Rhaegar gets the channel. 30 seconds, the clock is ticking. Let's see if Tears can defend their objective.
Seems like they're already neutralizing it, and Soul in the meantime dropping low, and he goes down there. The nice engage from TC onto him. And now we...
Muradin opting to stay on mid to clear. That's a bit of an odd choice. He doesn't have that much siege damage, and meanwhile, Deers, they start capturing the cage themselves. And clock is left down to 15 seconds. It doesn't look like Honk Goose criminals want to contest. They've got 2 people, bottom Reyna and Fossa already recalling, so they're running out of time very quickly.
Pretty Rexa now with Misha able to provide a lot of vision around here, and now probably able to interrupt as well. 1 second left, and there we go. It's taken by the team in blue. Deers with the first objective.
And we see some animal abuse as Misha dies to Reyna.
It's just Misha. It's okay to let her die sometimes. As long as she doesn't feel uncool. She's back in 1 second. There she goes.
And it's a clean slate for Honk Goose criminals as they try to defend the enemy raiders. Actually, are they called raiders? What are they called?
Cavalry.
Something. I'm sure they're called something. Whatever they're called,
Aliens
Honk Goose
Cavalry.
criminals are defending them. That's
Aliens.
it, cavalry. That's the word.
Well, we've got top lane and they're in a lot of trouble. After the root from Soul, there's the stun from Muradin, and she goes down.
A much needed kill for Honk Goose criminals to get them back into this game on even footing, especially during that phase. Very important, so that now they can clear top safely without having to worry. And Muradin rotates mid.
I sleep up there
Looking
to stop
for
the
some...
engage. Ted Mingle. chat, thank you for pointing me out. We have a very interesting wing build coming in this game with Force Armor, Charged Blast, and Seeker.
It's not standard at all, is it?
Nah, it's not. Especially one thing, I'm playing some wing myself. The Q build does not really work out very well with the Nano Boost, because you want the Nano Boost to get the kills in. With this build you don't have the burst damage. Instead, more depend on the cooldown reduction to get more Qs out.
Could that mean we're not gonna see Nano Boost, you think? I have the Horus potentially?
Nano Boost is still here, but it will not be used to the extent you normally see it used. We've got 10 now already for the Honk Criminals. In the bottom we saw Foster dying to a nice gank from ETC. As the Nano Boost unleash the Boar's Wave of Force, Leaping Strike. In the bottom lane we see now March of course this time as well.
It's yet another game with the Rega going for a Bloodlust, currently trying for a boss play on top, but Zul falls down, interestingly enough. And that's a failed boss if I've ever seen one. Reyna's forced to back off. It's a lot of green on his HP bar. Muradin's stuck in a bad position. His Dwarf Toss is on cooldown. Gus comes in just in time to save the day. Well played by Polstat.
Was interesting. So Rega and Reyna trying to go for the boss in the top lane. Then Lunera killed Xul up here because she kited him very good there and dodged the rune with the Leaping Strike. Then Rega just went on lane to provide vision, and then Reyna had to back off as well.
And it looks like for the moment the game is settling down just a bit with Reyna clearing a camp on mid. Both teams soaking a bit of XP. Relatively speaking, in kills, Diaz are a bit ahead and with XP, but it's a very minor difference.
Let's take him back.
No. Okay, Foster is fine here. So we talked about the ultimates we see from the team in red, Honko's Criminals. Going Gust, we also saw coming out, Avatar, Bloodlust, Skull Mages, and the Hyperion. See, very interesting build coming up from Xul with Reaper's Toll on level 4, so reduced core on the Spectral side and mana cost reduced. Been able to spawn more of those, which also spawn minions now. Skeletons. And Wall of Bones on level 7, so increased shield amount and 20 spell armor while the shield is active.
Okay, next objective is up, and both teams actually don't seem to be prioritizing it that much. There's currently 4 people for Honk Goose Criminals on the top lane, perhaps looking for another boss, but Lunara's Wisp scouts it as she does. Meanwhile, a camp's pushing in on mid lane for Diaz, and that will need to be dealt with, perhaps giving them a slight edge and a bit of a window of opportunity to get that enemy camp taken, or prisoners rather, freed. And they do get the channel 40 seconds, the clock is ticking. Muradin's in a bad position, he dwarf losses out, but Lunara's there to flank him. He's getting very low, Avatar comes out, is it going to be enough to save him though? Misha gets a stun, and perhaps it just very well might be. Totem of healing, tap, just enough.
Barely enough to keep the Muradin alive there. This also gives Deers a very big lead on the objective so far. 12 seconds left. Deep Flower, 10 seconds. Wing with the poke, that with the force as well coming in, 8.5. Yeah, Misha stunned against Reyna, Reyna dropping low, there's the dealing grenade to prevent his from coming in, fight or flight.
It seems like Honk Goose Criminals are having trouble taking their objective back, and suddenly this is another wave of alliance cavalry for Diaz, which would probably result in at least top and bottom 4 down. I don't think we'd see a keep taken, but it's very much a possibility. Those raiders, or rather that cavalry, is very strong.
So see, by the way, on level 13 from the side of Liming, the Cannoneer coming in. And usually you see on Ultra Pulse, especially the Triumvirate coming in, the Orb cooldown on level 4 with the standard build, Calamity and stuff. Because then you can poke a lot over this wall here. So
Zill's in a lot of trouble. ETC goes with the kill. Lunara confirms with the poison damage, and he is dead. He's out of there. And suddenly this is a very bad position for Muradin as well, as his team struggles to retreat in time.
The Bloodlust was not used by the way in the last fight. And Bloodlust is actually good now. In certain team comes in on this side of Honk Goose Criminals. We've got a very good team combo for Bloodlust with the Xul, with the Rainer. And the auto attack force that's coming in, of course.
Yep, he just needs to find the right moment to pop it off, and he can get a lot of value on it. Right now, Diaz rotating top to get some damage on that keep, and they will get it down, which potentially sets up a boss. This is the false stack, goes into the keep.
Anna in a lot of trouble, but there is a big mosh. 4-man mosh pit from Zephyro here, power slide as well. Rega goes down, make it 2 as Jimmy falls. Minga popping off with them resets, and it's 3 kills as Tool also goes down.
Absolute mayhem on top lane. We see Diaz retreating, even though they got 2 kills. They can't confirm that keep. They were quite low themselves on health, especially some other heroes, Lunara specifically. They opt for that boss in top lane, and with the wall on the keep down, it could very much let them secure an early keep in this game.
Move the wall open, as you mentioned. Meanwhile, Honk, Goose, Criminals looking for other stuff on the map. Siege camp is about to be taken by them to at least get some pressure in the mid lane from their side. They want to most of the resources towards the top and afterwards.
As just you're saying in the chat, I was very well played by Diaz. That mosh pit was absolutely crazy. It swung that team fight around. It started so bad with the Gus, but that mosh pit, it was just where it needed to be. And they're pushing with the pulse. Diaz, that is, they're looking for the keep. They might even be looking for kills. They've got 16. The enemy team doesn't.
Pit still on cooldown for seconds. Every other ultimate is ready for the side of Deer. Goose Criminals now used already the Hyperion for the defense here. And the route onto the Lunara taking some damage. There's the Leaping Strike. She saves Gus for disengage. The keep goes down, the rest is disengaging.
It's very important that Diaz got that keep down, because there's 20% less armor on the core, remember. And there is an objective which they're in a very good position to start taking.
Objective is now started the channel. Thank you for the host, 3px with 37 viewers. Go with those 40 armor left now only. Every keep you take down reduces the armor by 20. Also, one difference to other maps in terms of core is that the core slowly regenerates his health over time. If you make a hit or miss call on the core, you miss it, you might be a lot in trouble because the core is back to full health.
Yep, and meanwhile, Diaz making the strategic choice of letting Honk use Criminals to get their objective back, because they thought they were going to be hitting that 16 level tier and probably spoiling for a fight. ATC is a bit out of position, but he's fine. He's got a lot of armor. He's not worried. There's a few abilities are exchanged between the two teams, but no major damage is dealt.
We've got the blue team, the DR is hanging around this objective now, while the mid lane is pushing in the camp for them.
Yeah, they gotta be worried about that, but pressuring the second keep, because once that core is down to 20 armor, it becomes very easy to just right click.
So we've got the boards coming in there, it's just low.
Oh, Bloodlust goes off and Muradin's sprawling. He's looking at ETC, not the best target perhaps. He's switching on the now. Another mosh pit goes down. Interrupted by Gus, unfortunately. ETC's out of that fight. He's very low. Foster's currently sleeping on the job.
Who goes down, but so does Rexa. Now head on the run, is giving up the reset. Ruka taking some damage from Minkyus. She went into full cube also with the mirror ball on level 16.
And when the dust settles, that might look like it was a close fight, a kill for kill, but you gotta remember that counts pushing mid-keep, and mid-keep is quickly falling down. Muradin falls. This is not what Honk Goose Criminals wanted to have happen. This is very bad, because obviously Diaz can now chase them, potentially get a second pick, and with 2 keeps down, this could be a opportunity. And Reina falls due to a Lunara leap and a Lee Mingqiu. And it's looking like with that Alliance cavalry coming in, it's going to be very tricky for Honk Goose Criminals to defend their foe.
They've taken by Deers, the cavalry coming in, and the siege camp in the mid lane as well, which reduces the armor of the core. Actually get it down to 0 armor. Camp is able to hit it a little bit. Camp taken a little bit too early, so it already runs into the core, while the cavalry just spawned.
Zosai's already in top. What was he doing there? Good timing on that Gus from the 4-star player, saving his teammate, which could have been a very awkward time for him to die.
this Ming will figure you would get Fireflies. Well, yes, but actually no. To Aviator. Because with Fireflies you get some burst damage in, so you get more value out of Nano Boost.
We don't want to have that, do we? The first cavalry is already on the core, and it looks like Gears are looking for a fight. Nano Boost goes down on Li Ming. Reina popping Hyperion a bit late, arguably, but I think it might be enough to force Gears off of that core for now.
First cover in the bottom is about to hit the keep wall. Head takes a lot of damage, but so does Nisha. Root against Li Ming. There's a stun as well ahead. Blood trouble. There's a Q from Li Ming, and that's a double kill. Mosh pit for Rega. He goes down, but so does ETC. 3 for 1 trade in favor of Deers so far. Cora half health, and he still got this 20 HP. 20 armor.
Mission dies. More animal abuse and Foster. Oh, very close.
Sidonian is able to get into the core in time on his Foster. Core on 8,000 health. 8,000 health. 4,000. I think this is game.
And looks like it's gonna be enough. Bambi's poison damage is too much to deal with, and the first game goes over to Diaz in a 1-0 fashion. Very convincing, in fact.
Able to secure map number 1 in this best of 3 series. Looked pretty strong there.
Indeed, they did. There was this moment at the very end around the call where Zhu got a root on one of the Diaz heroes, and then Murden went in thinking to follow up. He dwarf tossed in, got the hammer follow up, but then his team wasn't quite following up, so he had to back off, and then Zhu went in probably thinking, oh, I need to save him because Murden was dropping very quickly. He didn't have dwarf toss, and then suddenly Zhu was alone. He died, giving Ming a reset, and then an instant later Murden followed, which probably was the move that lost Honk, Goose, Criminals that team fight there at the end. A very crucial one around the core.
In the meantime, we can take a short look at the bracket, because we also have Heroes Launch 2 currently online, with the game between Band of Brewers against Team Hotzi. There we see a 1-1 so far. There we also have our opponent for Donna Fedoras, currently still in their game number 3 now, is about to start. If you're interested in who will face the Fedoras, just make sure to check out the second channel. In the meantime, we've got the Honk Goose Criminals opting for first pick, so we've got the Deers again with the map pick.
It might be a minute.
Looking at the maps which are left open, we've got Dragon Shire, Garden of Terror, Infernal Shrines, Tomb of Spider Queen, and Towers of Doom.
So, first map didn't go that well for Honk Goose Criminals. They have opted for first pick, so they're gonna leave the map choice up to Diaz, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Which means Diaz, they might very well opt for a second map that was that's very similar to the first map, since they looked very solid on it. It was a 3-lane map, rather big one as well. So that means we could see Infernal Shrines potentially, or another big 3-lane map could be Dragon Shire. I mean, most 3-lane maps are big. I would be surprised to see Tomb of the Web Weaver Queen, because that's a rather small one as far as 3-lane maps go.
Definitely is. In the meantime, I want to have a short look to the stats, as we have very well mosh pits coming out. The last game from Zephyro, who played the ETC for Deers. With those mosh pits, his team was able to capitalize onto the Li Ming and get some nice resets in. As we see here, his most played hero this season is the Johanna. Then, interestingly enough, it comes in the Stitches, and on third spot it's even the Li Ming.
I mean, we haven't seen much Stitches so far in our games, but I wouldn't be surprised that if Johanna gets banned, Zephyro might opt to bring out that Stitches. There's always that potential for the hook into Gorge combo, especially with a stun to follow up. It doesn't even need to be Gorge, so definitely a viable choice. Which team member played Li Ming in the last game? Do you remember off the top of your head? It wasn't Sephiroth, because he was on the Janna, wasn't he?
It was on the ETC. It was.
I mean, yeah, on ETC.
Gibbon.
Okay, so let's think about that, because we know Sephiroth is a warrior main, so you probably stick to that tank, and I expect to see that Li Ming, you know, despite the odd talent build, I expect to see a ban, so we will have to opt for a different mage. And it looks like Kyotas is up there in his most played.
Also the Garage coming in as his most played hero this season.
And that could be why Honk is banned Garrosh as a first ban, actually.
I'm a little bit confused, honestly.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. I mean, so far we've seen Li Ming in the most played of a warrior main, and now we see Garrosh as the most played of damage player. So it's a bit. I mean, it's not necessarily bad. It's always good to be able to switch heroes around in rows, especially you know, you may not always get the draft you want, so you gotta be flexible. There's always that.
You can also argue that Sephiroth was able to set up the Ming so well in the last game because he also knows how to play the Ming. He knows which setups are good for his hero.
Oh yeah, that's a valid point actually. The strategy is deep. And someone's ringing on my door. Give me 1 second. Take it over, son.
We've got someone ringing on the door. We've got in the meantime the lobby set up. Also have the map choice coming in. It is against most expectations from my lovely co-caster. It's actually Tomb of the Spider Queen coming in, or how people hear me call it normally, Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Okay, I am back. What did I miss? Did I miss anything exciting?
We've got my pick from the side of Deers, and it's Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Well, I guess I stand corrected. We're gonna see a small 3-lane map. Potentially another wave clear again.
A lot of people in the chat. Fizz, welcome. Also Joey K and Karun. A lot of people we know. We've got most people already in the lobby. It seems like someone is having bugs with Discord.
Well, not me, I can tell you that much, but I'm not surprised. Discord, it tends to be a bit buggy, and you gotta remember, there's quarantine all over the world right now, so a lot of people are on Discord.
RIP game privacy. This is 2020, get on with the times. Privacy is a thing of the past. I want to quarantine my What is going on in this chat again?
That's saying that information is classified. There's no information that's classified anymore. Welcome to the 21st century.
Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, it's getting out of hand. It's okay.
I mean, are the FBI gonna knock my door down anytime soon? Should I be worried?
I don't think you have to be worried. Seems like teams are... The first team is ready again at least. They're about to start to the game.
Unfortunately, Deer seem to be having some problems with their Discord. Ongoing issues from our Lunara player from last game. The Skype option has been thrown in the chat. Do we have any supporters of Skype? Any people in our Twitch chat that prefer Skype? I would be surprised to see. But you never know.
The other day I heard a story about ICQ, so I don't know. It was way before my time.
Oh wow, I remember. I've got vague memories of ICQ floating around and being a thing. I don't actually know anything about the software. I just know it's old. But it could be reliable. Hey, don't get me wrong. Old but gold, right?
Possible? I mean, yeah,
question mark.
When was ICQ, by the way, a thing? About which years?
Let me Google that for you.
I think it's really been a thing I never had in my mind.
Okay, so it came out back in... Developed by Israeli company back in 1996. Bought by another company in 1998. And then popularized in 2000 something-ish. So it's been a while. Chances are, you know, it's probably free.
If you think about it, just think about it. This thing was released before I was born.
Oh, wow. Don't...
It is.
Yeah, before I was born too. Either damn. I'm feeling young? Question mark instead of old. Oh, too many emotions. Oh.
It's just always fun when I hear friends talking about age, which I usually play online, and they're like, "You are not allowed to talk with us about age. Too young for that."
You don't have an opinion if you're under 30. You're not allowed.
Maybe some. No, actually, Winterhunt, the first time I casted a game with facecam, someone in the chat was like, "Hey, this guy looks like Baby Breeze." Yeah. Seems like ready.
Something hit my window just now. I don't know what. Okay, I think I'm safe for now.
Yeah, it seems like they have solved the problem, or someone is having the idea of pings in the rest time.
They might have solved it, or they're going ahead the spider, because we are into the draft of the second match today. Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Of the Spider Queen. Okay. Spider Queen, or as we call it before, Tomb of the Wave Clear. We see Garrosh being the first fan again.
Not surprised. They banned the first game around. They banned the second game around. They've done their research. They don't want to face against that. Here's another Jana ban. Just as we saw in the last series, a very good pick onto the Spider Queen. Very good for the rotations. A lot of wave clear in terms of tanks. So no big surprises there. If you can't pick it, probably ban it. Seems like what Deers are going with in terms of their philosophy about Joanna.
The thing about Tomb Spider Queen, there are two tanks in my mind immediately, which is first of all Johanna, of course, with the wave clear, and second of all, also Blaze around with who can be played as a main tank. It has amazing amounts of wave clear in that role. But from the bans so far, we see Honk with Criminals also deciding to remove Enduin, and the side of Deers they remove Sylvanas.
Which means Zoo is he made it again through the banning phase, and if there's one map he is great on, it's probably this one. And here we see him picked for Honk Goose Criminals as a first pick priority. Not surprised.
A little bit, to be honest. Xul really had a hard time in the last game.
He did, yeah, but you could argue that it wasn't due to the performance of the Zoo player itself. It was just a string of unfortunate engages. When we see Hanzo instead of the Ming, and like you pointed out, Blaze a very good option for a tank on this map. A lot of wave clear complements very well with Zoo and Keltas.
Blaze is a main tank. I really like Blaze as a main tank. He could also keep in mind, he could also be a Xul main tank. Really want to change things around. You opt for the Medivh as well. You have some quite fun combos coming in here. But
a Decade ban, that's strange. No. Do we know Honk Goose Criminals being famous with the Decade?
I'm not sure, but from the side of Honk Goose Criminals we see a Rexa ban. I would have honestly expected something along the lines of a Jane or a Gul'dan, because we've got the Ana with the Nano Boost.
Yeah, we could still see a Li Ming. It's open, and you still need a second DPS player. It's not the ideal mage in terms of wave clear, but with the Hanzo, they don't necessarily need that much wave clear added on top of them. It's a Reina, however, and an ETC. Okay.
In theory, you can opt for Iphoros if you really want it. Give some great stalling and stuff. But also on the other side, a nano boost on Hanzo doesn't seem too bad.
Especially if he doesn't go for the basic attack build, right?
Definitely. In the meantime, we've got Honk, Goose, Criminals with the next 2 picks coming in. It is
Save some lives.
Rayless
Oh.
Deathwing.
Okay. And the instant lyric as a response to that. Okay. Okay. This is a spicy draft. I like it.
I'm very surprised about the Deathwing pick, to be honest. Yeah, that's one thing I can see can do. Which leaves Honko's Criminals with the option to go between mid and top rotation for Xul and having the 4 men in the bottom. But also could leave them with the Deathwing in the solo lane. And having the Deathwing in the bottom lane while Xul is with the team in rotating.
They've certainly got options with G bruisers on a smaller map. I'm interested to see how Gears are going to handle the laning phase specifically. Are they gonna set up that Leoric after level 4 with Neo Peasants to double soak and just stick on either top or bottom as 4? Or are they going to commit to the 4-man rotations?
It's going to be very interesting, but I think on the side of Gears we see Leoric trying to stick to Deathwing just to be very annoying to him.
It could be, so it might very well depend on where the Deathwing goes, Leoric follows.
Could be. In the meantime, as you already hear in the background, the Spider Queen, as we are here on map number 2. Deers 1-0 in the lead on the left side. LeSean Amiel on the Reyna, Mu on Lyric, Geben playing the Hanzo, Zephyro on the ETC, and last but not least we see Pukoki. Hiding there behind the ETC, he's on Ana.
And on the right in red, down to that last tournament live, we've got Honky's Criminals with Sidonian playing Keotas. Truly on that unexpected Deathwing, Azukan picking up the Zoo, Hat on Blaze, and Aerocast, the team's healer Lieutenant Morales.
Looking at the talent so far, we see very interesting one. We see Molten Blood from Deathwing, so he heals for 0.5 of his maximum health per second if he has 3 or more armor blades. Opting into a little bit more poking.
Yeah, definitely not a standard talent there, and Leoric goes for Ossian Renewal, which is not quite... it's not a bad talent per se, and it's definitely the second best in my opinion after the Q talent, but given the map, I would have expected to see a straight up Q build from Leoric.
Would have honestly also seen Felton to death from Lyric, just trying to run between waves. Getting this health in from the minion. Also a possibility here. From the current looks of it, we see Xul rotating between mid and bottom. While Lyric is also there.
Yeah, Lyric's trying to keep it at bay, but you gotta remember until level 4, before he gets New Peasants, he's not that good of a laner.
I like the way how Chad is also talking about D-build Ana.
As you do. Classic standard D-build Ana. Ana Soloing Camp, also classic.
It is known. But anyways, as we have 1 minute 30, we see both teams opting towards the Bruiser's camps in the meantime. Mu in the bottom on Lyric. He's zoning out the Xul here. Trying to deny him experience and the skeleton spawns. Or at least the experience. We see here 2 experience globes, barely picked up, but he's trading that for a lot of times, and now as Zephyro comes in as well, there we've got a stun, we've got the shade by the way coming in again. Against the auto attack, there's the shield gone, as kind of taking a lot of damage, and he goes down as Zephyro is there on the ECC with the last hit with his guitar, securing the kill.
Very well played by Diaz. They're executing that gang to pick them that first blood, and that leads to an uncontested Jan camps on the bottom, which, although small, could get some value later on with the taking the gate down.
Tower already took half of his health damage. You know, we've got the Bruiser camp clashing against each other in the mid lane, and the one of Honk, Goose, already is defended.
Yep, almost in tower range, but not quite. So a bit unlucky for Diaz that timing, because if those Those bruisers were just a few millimeters further on the left of the screen. They would have been getting shot by the towers. ETC is in an interesting position. He's quite deep. Blaze follows up with a stun on him. Keltas lands a CE, and suddenly ETC is very low. Is he very dead though? It remains to be seen. Another gravity collapse.
The healing from Ana enough to keep him alive.
Well played by Puoki there, keeping his teammate alive, showing off his skills and his great aim on that Ana. Probably the only healer where you have to actually aim your heals. Well, other than Anduin, but that one's a bit wide. Come on. Well, you can't compare Anduin's heal to Ana's heal, really.
True that. ETC really tried to zone off the opponents and did a very good job with it. Really got paid with his life, but he was fine. As we said, because of the Ana healing. I've got head here a little bit. Throwing fire around. Interrupting the turn.
So far Deathwing's been getting a decent amount of value around those turning points. He can safely poke. ETC's going in for that Keltas. He gets the power slide, he gets the face melt, but Morales, good healer, good healing output. Keltas lives with no problem there.
One thing we see coming in here from the Ana, which he does very well so far, is the ETC engage. He just immediately throws the grenade onto the target, which got us lit to have the anti-healing, so Morales cannot heal this target. I've definitely seen a little bit of a mage build coming in with Inferno, so if Molten Flame is cast at 75% energy or more, its damage is increased by 75%.
And importantly, the first Weaver phase coming over to Diaz. Let's see how much damage they can get done. I expect to see a bit of a prioritization, English is hard, guys, on the top lane where that boss is. It could open up the possibility for keep later on in the game or even core.
Now coming in towards the mid lane. That's the stun against Raynor. There's another one that's the root as well, and Raynor goes down. First kill of the Honk criminals this game, which will give him a little bit of an advantage now in defending those spiders. You know, we have Lyric.
Yep, not really what you want to have. Oh yeah, Lyric is getting free push from bottom. Zoo is going over to contest, but he is alone and Ana's already in position, so this could very well mean the fall going down on the side of Honko's criminals, because they went top as a 4-man. Zul actually dies. Brilliantly executed there by Lyric and Hanzo.
Sleeper coming in from Ana, so he cannot run too far away, and Lyric with the Ray Form able to go to the other side of his body. Finish him off.
It looks like Honki's criminals might be looking for that top 4 as a trade for bottom. I don't think they can finish it in time. ETC is already making the rotation.
Looks like it will at least get the front wall, which gives him a little bit of experience back. When we take a short look at experience here, we see 5,000 coming in from Lyric, while we have on the other side 4,400 from Kelfas, and the same amount from Cthulhu as well. Just took the bottom wave. See, very big, very same amount of experience in terms of minions. A little bit of an advantage in Heroes 4 Deers. Same goes for mercenaries.
Then shows up for this, and looking at the talents, there's no big surprises really. Mosh Pit, Hyperion, Dragons are all standards, and like you pointed out earlier, Sammy, I have Horus instead of Nano Boost on Nana.
Interesting, it really goes for that. Did not really expect it, to be honest, but as we see a Q-Bolt from Hanzo. And trying to turn in, but he's there with an interrupt. Some barely misses there from Blaze. Will this be interrupt? Turn in. A lot of interrupts coming in there from this side of Deers.
ATC is looking like the target for a while. That's a very questionable entomb there on the Deathwing. He doesn't really care. He's out without a O. He's just fine.
One of the things you have to watch out as Deathwing, Derek does not only have the entomb, doesn't only have the percentage damage to really threaten you with his strain, but also he has the entomb, which really forces you to stay in this spot. And if you want to get out of there, you have to use Cataclysm. So one thing
you have no other way out.
One thing you often see from a Deathwing against Lyric is Draconic Might with the Protector on level 1. Is it called Draconic Might? I don't know.
I think that's what it's called, but in this case it wasn't picked up. Blaze finds a very interesting stun on Hanzo while he was mid-jump. but it doesn't lead to anything. And the web weavers for Honky's criminals are spawning right now. Let's see what they can get done with this phase.
Now, web weaver pushing in for the top 4. Mid lane is about to be defended by Jimmy, as we see this time a veteran marksman Jimmy. No exterminator for the bonus wave here. However, a little bit more teamfight damage. And we could ultimate Apparently and Simmer are the only ones on the cooldown right now. So both Terrans in this game. 2 out of 3 Terrans in this game, no ultimate.
Well, so far it seems that, give or take, so far it does seem Honky's criminals didn't get a lot done with that web weaver phase, although they got enough. I'd say getting that top 4 down is particularly valuable, as that's the boss lane. There's a root coming on ECC, a follow from Deathwing, but it doesn't lead to anything too big. And Mai is trying for a turn, and that's rather ambitious with the whole ADB team position around. Blaze commits again. He slept, he spoked, and he's out.
Now stun coming in from Kelfas, a little bit of damage on Mu, but there's the siege renewal and a little bit of healing from Anna. And he's fine. We've got Reyna in the top lane rotating. There's ETC trying to go for a turn in there. There's a flame strike from Sidonia and interrupting the turn in.
13 just around the corner for Deers. They just need 1 or 2 more minions, and Tim goes down, but Kyotas is sneaky enough to just walk out of it like a boss. The hands arrow barely misses him. KT, man, you are dodging everything today, and Blaze is engaging.
Yeah, also Blaze now with the stim drone, which is quite interesting.
I mean, I'm sure Karis would love it, and he finds the Hanzo. Deathwing comes in and Hanzo down. Deathwing Nanobu's new meta, question mark?
It is amazing that if you think about it, the Blaze with the Syndrome secured the kill because of this extra movement speed he got. He was able to catch up onto the Hanzo, get the oil on him, and the stun.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's a kill for Honk, Goose, Criminals, and but the blue weapons are someone.
Yep, Wave was coming down for Deers, and Hanzo's already back.
There's
the
bunker
goes down. That's an interesting bunker right out of that. And he's saying nothing.
Rushbit coming in, so is the Eye of Horus. A lot of damage going in. Morelli is getting poked by Anna. What?
What is happening? What am I watching? Okay, Zoo is going bottom to clean that web weaver, so for the time being, Honky's criminals, they're not going to be wanting to go for a fight as they are in a 4v5, well, 4v4 situation with Lorik pushing top, confirming that important fourth there. Kyota's responding top lane, which means Blaze is in a bit of a trouble. Suddenly it's a 3v4 and the Hanzaro comes out. He's stepped, he's dead. No bunker for you this time around, I'm afraid.
Weapon push from Lyric in the top lane, they got the top forward, and now they also looking to take it, some structures in the mid lane down. As they took down the fountain, they're still hovering around as the mid wave now comes in, and they can push in and go for the fort.
Certainly, yeah, they can afford it. Blaze is still on 10 seconds death timer, and Honky's criminals, they recognize that and back off, not wanting to risk staggered death timers there on mid.
Up before there, now we see a rotation from Deers towards the top lane, and they're looking at the boss.
They saw, I think, Honky's criminals showing bot just to stay second, and I don't think Honky's criminals realizes that Deers are already on that boss. It's down to a quarter health already, and it's gone. Yeah, that boss is surely going over to Deers.
With the taken now, they will see a push in for the top lane. It's pretty interesting to see Honky's criminals trying to go for a turn in the meantime, but they decide not to.
Yeah, perhaps a slight mistake there in terms of timings for Honky's. Although it could be argued that they want to defend the boss first, and they know that this can't turn in, so they can't stagger. So they're just taking their time, clean up the boss, and then set up better turn in.
Possibly. Meanwhile, boss in the top lane getting some damage onto the keep wall, taking down one tower, and falls.
And yes,
expectations of tiers. In the meantime, we see the bruiser camp and the bottom siege camp is about to be taken from them.
Yeah, very nice. But getting the two camps, recognizing that the enemy team was tied up top, dealing with that boss. As Honky's Criminals moves for the top turning point, looking to get that turn in. We were talking about.
Already had Lyric and UCC set up around. Oh, and Tomb barely misses there on the head. But he would have had his bunker up for the case needed.
Yep. There's a few cooldown spot there, rather just one main cooldown on Entomb, but that's not a long one. It's just 30 seconds left on it now.
It's really one strong thing of Lyric, a lot of people forget, is that the Entomb is just a very strong tool to force the opponent to fight. This delay due to the camps, as Honku's criminals want to defend the camps first before they commit to a turn-in. Got no teams having enough gems and they're looking for their own turn-in.
Yep, suddenly Honky's Criminals have missed a window of opportunities. This is not what they wanted happening here, I think. This is what, second? Or perhaps even third when we were phased in favor for Diaz?
It's the first one already.
Yeah. And it looks like Diaz are grouping up top, recognizing that wall is already down to half HP from the earlier boss. And they could possibly look for a key play there.
Definitely looking around here. Wall. You're not allowed to forget that the other side, but meanwhile, in the mid and in the bottom, the Red Team are pushing down as well. Herrick with the Eagle going in, ghosting around a little bit to reduce the opponent's damage by 50%.
Yep, the clock is ticking against the Gooses. That was a nice power slide from ETC, but unfortunately Blaze had unstoppable on him from that new habit start on level 1. And like you pointed out, bottom and mid are under a lot of pressure. Goose Criminals, they are forced to start rotating, clearing out other lanes. Now, fortunately for them, they didn't get, they didn't suffer much damage done on top. So far, they managed to protect their structures, and Diaz haven't got anything major done with that Web Weaver face.
Meantime, we've got in the chat the question if Lyric can reduce Deathwing's damage.
That's a good question. I don't think.
He does.
I don't think that works.
He does.
Does it? Okay, fair enough.
It also works with auto attack speed reductions. Work even if you are unstoppable.
Oh, Diaz looking for a flank on the Zoo, but he's smart enough to recognize that 40 gems make him a big important target, and he backs off, safely rotates a bit through his space.
Team has enough gems still. Oh, nice.
Reyna's out of position. Oh, he's just out of there. That was very close. That win from Kyotas.
Able to interrupt the charge from Blaze, and there is
that bunker just in time. Blaze walks out with like the boss.
Coming in. Big damage from the Shanamial, but they're stealing from Anna, and he is fine. The configuration coming in on level 16 from Deathwing as he deals some AoE damage. And so in the meantime, time to turn in.
Yeah, quite a few outs going down in that fight, but no kills, which left Honky's Criminals with a narrow opportunity to get the Web Weaver phase in their favor, which is arguably just what they need right now because there's a lot of pressure on bottom. But they could still get something done with the top Web Weaver.
Top Web Weaver very far pushed out, even on where the blue fort is right now. From the other side, we've got in the mid lane, spawning where the red fort would be, and the bottom even further behind, spawning in the key.
And they can afford to ignore bottom and mid for the time being. Hyperion used on top for that solid wave clear, like we talked about earlier. Hyperion great to in those kind of situations.
They're just standing around, queuing around, leaving, and the Web Weaver is very close to be done.
Oh, Hanzo took a good chunk of damage there, but Blaze can't get to the back line. He's getting a... Oh.
On.
And no one dies, and 2 misses. Okay, very pacifistic so far.
Big sleep dart, ETC going around, knocking them in far side as well. Does not go
That's
for
an
much
aggressive
yet.
bunk I've ever seen. One, come on, click on that bunker zoo. There you go, you are safely out of there. He falls down to a third of the life, but it's still safe enough. And interestingly enough, the web weavers on mid and bottom just got cleared by minions.
Bottom is a very long way to walk for the web weaver from the keep on.
Oh, ETC's
Now
on
the
Morales.
trade.
She is in a bad position, and Anna's helping without damage, but Morales manages to walk out. Question mark, base is in a lot of trouble.
And ETC goes down as he just got killed by the Deathwing, but Blaze falls as well due to his scatter error from Pierce, and Hanzo falls in return.
Simple geometry.
Oh, there's the Deathwing slide trying to catch up to the Chandamiel on the Rainer.
This is exactly what Honki's criminals needed in that kind of scenario. They got 2 kills and only dropped a single hero. Now they can do another turn in. They've had enough gems saved up because they've played a bit slowly over the early and mid game, which might as well have been a strategic decision. Because think about it, the web weaver scale and now it's level 20. They're gonna start dealing a lot of structured damage. So this is at least 1 keep count in favor of Honki's criminals.
Especially as as Honko's criminals last web weaver wave pushed out the waves very far. This web weaver wave is going to spawn very far forward now as well. Mid lane is at the forward. Bottom, the keep goes down even without the web weaver now coming in and still to be dealt with.
And we see the Goose criminals rotating mid. Could they potentially look for the mid keep as well? It's their choice whether they want to keep pressuring mid or perhaps look for the Lyric, who's very smartly realizing that he shouldn't be out that far.
Starting to work on the mid keep wall. Bottom web weaver already down. So this is a lane Deers do not have to worry too much about. Derek looking for a flank. He's got 20. He's got Buried Alive. He's got the Silence and Tomb. He's looking for the big flank.
I think Goose criminals are gonna recognize that they're happy with what they just got and just retreat. I mean, think about it. The web weavers didn't get much done themselves, but it provided them a window of opportunity to confirm the keep. So when the dust settles, they got what they came for. They're happy to back out.
Both teams now looking at their loser camps.
No big surprise there. Let's see if that siege camp at the bottom is going to become a bit of a contested point. It doesn't look like as Deathwing moves to check on the boss. No surprise, bosses for the second time in the game yet.
Now we've got the no team so far has enough gems for a turn in. This is going to be the next point where it starts to get interesting again. Boss in bottom camp is up.
And it seems like the 2 teams are happy to just trade the clearing of the cruisers without getting in a major fight. I mean, ETC spoken a bit, he's looking for something. Deathwing's throwing out abilities. Both teams, they're not willing to overcommit to anything that looks risky. It's a good chunk of damage in Reina, but again, Anna is able to deal with that pretty well.
ETC build. Yeah, for me, we've got a little bit of a different build coming in. On level 13, he's got the face melt. So the slow on face melt.
Siege camp instantly getting deleted and taken by Honki's criminals. They might look for something on bottom lane now. The keep is 3/4 perhaps, and Zoo's got a decent pushing ability, but doesn't look like it. They're heading top to contest that turn in from Deer.
In the meantime, we have enough gems now picked up by Deers for the turn in. But all of them have to turn in except Hanzo right now.
Are the Gooses trapping boss? Is that what's happening here? Or are they willing to trade boss for a turn in? It looks like they're willing to trade the boss for the turn in indeed.
But I don't think they have enough damage. Don't think they have enough damage, so they are coming in with the rotation already. And taking the damage, the boss is
Lorik was a bit far ahead in terms of positioning, but he gets out just fine with that spooky ghost form. He was even thinking about that boss. Oh, Hanzo continues it. That could be boss webweaver phase. I don't think the Gooses are going to let that go uncontested.
Oh, there's the Silence and Tomb coming in, looking at Su. He's taking a lot of damage, but in return, definitely for the skill, Reina sends in it. Reina goes down.
Now Stim Drone Zoo is just wrecking the backline apart as he picks up a second kill. Well, technically it was Kyoto secured it, but Zoo dealt the majority of that damage. And they're looking for keep here. Two members down on the side of Deers. It could very well be
at the core.
However, look at mid. There's gonna be a bit of a core race here, I think, with Lorik and the Webweaver.
Looks like it so far, yes. The red team also has no minions because of the Webweaver pushing in the top lane. There's the Marsh Pit onto 2.
He buys a bit of time, but ETC is dead in response. Hanzo can't do much now, and the shields on the red core are still very much up. And it looks like Honky's criminals are going to even this out in a brilliant team fight on top lane that leads to a core destruction.
The core of Honku's criminals, by the way, is 69% HB. Nice.
Wink, wink.
Nice. Anyway, well played there by Honku's criminals. Really seeing this opportunity to go in for the core. Well, it was like, you know what, can't defend this. And looked at going for space race.
To be fair, he probably correctly recognized that his team couldn't defend in a 3v5 situation. It was a very slim hope that he had being able to base race against that kind of a damage output. I think the only situation in which that could have worked was, say, ETC gets the best mosh pit ever and it just buys him 3-4 seconds of extra time. And as we saw, it didn't happen, but props to Lorik for recognizing that this was their only hope and taking the chance.
Now we've got, with Deers losing this game number 2, we have them deciding between map pick or first pick. Let's take a short look on the maps pool, which are left open, and it is Dragonshire, Garden of Terror, Infernal Shrines, and Towers of Doom.
Okay, so no more small 3-lane maps left for them to throw me off my predictions. What do you think we're gonna see, Samu? Do you think it's gonna be another Towers of Doom, or could we potentially see?
I honestly think Deers opt to go first pick, and then Honku's Criminals is like throwing out crazy stuff as they usually do and try Garden of Terror.
Oh yeah, that could be a thing. Could very well be a thing. In fact, I believe my team, I don't remember. No, I think we played them around against Honky's Criminals, but it wasn't with them that we had this crazy Garden of Terror map. Anyways, move. Let's see. Has a choice been made?
We see Deers choosing to go for the first pick, so Honku's Criminals with the map choice.
And it looks like Honky's Criminals are going to take a second to discuss the map. Not surprised.
We can take a short look on player stats again. This time,
yep.
I want to have a short look on... sorry, not wrong one. We go Tule from Honk Goose Criminals. His 3 highest heroes, or 3 most played heroes, are Lyric, Malthael, and Deathwing.
Yep, funnily enough, and we just saw a very, well, it was quite a convincing Deathwing performance, even though it wasn't the standard, like quote-unquote standard Deathwing build, was it?
It was not. It was more of a 4-man ranged mage build, coming in from Deathwing. In the meantime, we've got some copy pasta in the chat. Here's the thing, you said Blaze is a tank. Is it in the same role? Yes, no one's arguing that. As someone who is meta analyst who studies tanks, I'm telling you specifically in the meta, no one calls Blaze a tank. If you want to be specific, like you said, then you shouldn't either. They are not the same thing. If you're saying tank family, you're referring to the meta grouping of bruises, which includes things from Xul to Diva to Deathwing.
Okay, that's an interesting view. I mean, I guess, like, Izu, like, I know he's been played as a main tank, but, like, does he really have the sustain that most other tanks have in order to be, like, properly put up there? Maybe?
On the side of tanks, it's always a question what your draft needs. For example, most of the tanks on the side of an ETC provide the team with the vision, with the engage tool, and with appealing tool. And it's always a thing if you think about back in the days when Xul, end of HGC, when Xul was played as a main tank. The strength of Xul was that he made up for the wave clear for his team. But on the other side, he lacked the vision opportunity. He lacked a little bit of zoning. He got the engage with the root for his team to follow up. The Medivh came in to make up for the vision, so provides him with some portals to get some nice disengages in. Lacked the wave clear though himself. It was always a thing you have to consider. What does your team need from the tank? Is it really a tank who needs to engage? If you get, for example, a Maiev in, you don't have to have a tank who needs to engage. You just have a tank who is there to follow up, and Blaze works really great for that. Also, Blaze with the oil into stun can do some great engages himself.
Indeed, like we just saw on that last map. Definitely getting value both from the wave clear and the additional engagement capabilities. Let's see, do we have a map pick yet?
Imagine trying to understand pasta. The chat in every time in the response to that I've not eaten pasta in 2 weeks because all the supermarkets are sold out.
Oh no, now I want to eat some pasta. Why would you have to say that? Oh, I don't think I have any either.
Rip.
Wait, no, I do. Or rather, correction, my flatmate does, which in our communist flat means I also have some pasta. If he has pasta, it's our pasta. It's moving on from politics, yes.
Okay. In the meantime, we've got a map choice from Honko's Criminals. And
Inferno Shrines, yep. Interesting. I want to say I called it, but I didn't.
you would have known if you called it.
Yep. It's downside of doing this live. I can't edit it out in post edit and just make myself appear perfect.
Like predicting drafts and stuff.
That's Karius' ability, really, isn't it? When it comes down to it, he has the knowledge. Okay, it shouldn't be long now before we head into the draft for the third game in this best of 3 series. For those of you joining us right now, you are watching Deers versus Honk, Goose, Criminals, and the score currently is 1-on-1, so it's a tie. It's to decide the map, Infernal Shrines.
It's also to decide who goes up in the bracket. When we take a short look on the bracket, we saw Hotzi winning 2-1 against Band of Brewers. So they will face Dawn of Doors in the semi-final. And in the winner of this series will go up against either Anchor or against Lucky Play in the semi-finals. So we will see who will advance towards the next round. So we are about to start the draft. Seems like both teams are in the lobby. Might be ready.
Certainly looks like we should be heading into the draft very soon. A bit of chit chat going between the teams in a friendly fashion, of course.
As usual.
After all, this is Heroes Lounge. We're all nice guys here, right? And Goes.
I've never really seen
of course.
Someone being super toxic in Heroes Lounge, which is very great. Everyone's seen the team.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's good natured. I mean, as most MOBAs, Heroes of the Storm does suffer a bit of toxicity in some of the regions of its player base, but I'm very happy to see that in Heroes Lounge. This is very much not the case.
It seems like we've got one team ready. Yeah, there we're good to go. Team number 3 of this best of 3 series. So the last one between Deers and the Honk, Goose, Criminals.
First pick going over to Deers as they look for their first ban. Let's see if it's going to be a Joanna ban. I have a feeling it might be.
I've overcome my sloughness! Exclamation mark! Bet A, if you think the... Oh wait, sorry. Oh god. Okay, never mind.
What have you done? Clock ticking down, and we get a Sylvanas, a very popular ban on Inferno Shrines in specific as disabling structures when a Punisher's pushing in. Generally quite good. Garrosh, the response ban. I'm not surprised we've seen him 2 games in a row banned from Honk, Goose, Criminals. So
okay. Now, exclamation mark,
up.
bet A if you think Deers will be able to close out this best of 3 series. Or exclamation mark, bet B if you think Honk, Goose, Criminals coming in with the reverse sweep after losing map number 1. Winning map number 2.
Do I get to bet as well?
Exclamation mark, bet A, exclamation mark, bet B, whatever you want, of course. Yeah, here we go with the Xulban, this time from the side of Deers. Is they the first pick? They don't want to deal with him apparently. They don't want to pick him themselves. It's quite understandable on Towers of on Infernal Shrine because
he's bad.
Amazing.
Okay, let's see what kind of first pick Deers opt for. Is it going to be that ETC perhaps?
Could be. Meantime, another story out of the chat. You've been struck by a goose criminal.
Criminal.
And here, no, it's Anna first pick.
Anna, they're comfortable. They've shown that they don't have any trouble locking Anna first pick, and they make it work. As the tension mounts, the silence stretches.
And as we see here, big pick rate of 37%, win rate of 57%, ban rate of 32%. Really up in the meta, but as we talked about the Blaze, he is picked up again. And this time he's picked by
makes a comeback.
Azukan, who was playing Xul in the last 2 games for
good
Criminals, so possibly so. But keep in mind, there's still the swapping round, where they can swap around. But there we see Ruka picking up the Deckard who was banned in the last game.
Yeah, Deckard, he was banned by Deers last game, which probably means they've done their research and they know potions plus gooses equals not fun time for you. Rexa makes a comeback as well. Very strong point control from him around those objectives.
We also see Deers picking up the Kelphos, who could just put a bomb onto one of the Shrine minions and it just walks the opponent and explodes there.
It's like Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, all of that. Here's a bomb.
Kind of. But anyways, we've got next ban coming out from the Honk, Goose, Criminals.
Oh, there's the ETC ban.
ETC did a really good job in those first 2 games, I have to say. Shout out to Zephyr there.
Yeah, definitely a respect ban in those terms. And definitely is getting banned, even though he wasn't exactly the reason the Gooses won last game, although he certainly performed up to par with the rest of his team. But no dragons this game around, unless some team goes for Alex Straz as a second healer, which somehow I doubt is going to be the case.
Oh, we've got the next 2 picks from Honk, Goose, Criminals. What will come? Greymane Junkrat, so leaving up if Blaze is the main tank or the solo laner.
Could go either way. Let's see what this answer with. There's the Lunara. Not a surprise.
And from the
we've seen. Yeah, it's a comfortable pick for him / her.
I think it's him. And last pick from Zephyr, the main tank.
Let's see the tank. Oh, it's a Stitches. That's Stitches we talked about earlier. I'm happy. I don't know about you. I'm happy. I'm excited to see how this goes. Hooks are so much fun.
I have to say one thing which is quite interesting. We see Honk, Goose, Criminals banning out Garrosh, Johanna, and ETC, and then leaving their own main tank up for the last pick.
Yeah, that might have been I could play. Blaze could be the
Pablo?
The solid.
Tyrell?
Oh,
yeah.
Tyrell.
Oh, one of my favorites coming in. Tyrell Blaze for Honk, Goose, Criminals with the bunker, with the sanctification. You have so much protection. The opponents really have a hard time killing something if you play it correctly.
Yeah, you just have to time it very well. Let's see if the Goose's communication, if they can quack in time. I'm sorry, that was a terrible joke. Moving on.
There, Goose in time. From the looks of it, we've got Hat on Tyrell and Azukan on the Blaze, so a Blaze Blaze solo lane.
Yep, no swaps there.
Here on is the main tank. King stuff. I like both drafts. From the side of the Honk Goose Criminals, I miss a little bit of Shrine Clear, with mainly Graham and Junkrat Blaze to do so. They are not the best to do so. The other we see
they're not.
Kalphas and Lonera.
Deers definitely, yeah, they have that damage output, so the Gooses can't afford to be late if they want to play for the Shrine, which of course you don't necessarily have to do, but we shall see as we head on into game number 3 on Inferno Shrines.
We start to the left side in blue. It's Deers trying to win this game number 3 after losing game number 2. It's Mu on Rexa, Sephira on the Stitches, Porky on the Anna, Lejeune Emiel on Lunaran. Last but not least, it's Given on the Kalphas.
And on the right side, coming in on the wings of momentum from a win last game, we've got Honk Goose Criminals with Azukan playing Blaze, Tiro played by Hat, Sidonian on Greyman instead of Tank this time around, Tule on Junkrat, and Eruka playing the healer Decker.
See some perfect aim for Greyman, by the way, so maybe opting into a cocktail build.
Could be the case, and Sapphire from Decker, which is pretty standard there, no surprises. I am actually somewhat surprised to see Adrenaline Steam back from Blaze.
Yeah, the auto attack speed is quite interesting. Gives you auto attack speed and movement speed. So,
yeah, certainly could be for that extra shrine damage that you were saying they could potentially lack. Bit of extra attack speed on the Blaze AoE attacks could help them with the killing those guardians.
Could also go for the auto attack talent on level 7 then. But this in return makes him always ignite his oil, which he do not always want.
Yeah, it's a situational talent if there ever was one. Jesus, English is hard. We see both teams taking their first siege camp in a very timely fashion. Deer slightly behind, but it doesn't look like the Gooses want to what's the word? Invade? Yep, that's it.
The Gooses meantime on the camp S4. While we had Deer still soaking the bottom lane with Lunara and Stitches in the mid lane.
So a slight experience lead for them, it looks like. We shall see how it goes from this point on as the minions get cleared in top lane as well.
But in the meantime, in top lane, Blaze taking a lot of damage there. Even has to charge out, not taps the fountain. A little bit too late, I would say. Okay. You actually want to tap the fountain in 1 minute, so you have it back up for...
Yep, so it's back up for the objective. We'll see if this comes into play around the first objective, although of course he might it might be the case that, you know, there's a drawn out fight and he gets it back in time. We'll see. Goose is going up for the bruises rather early. They might be just preparing it, or they might be capturing it. We'll see.
Time we have with the space on the map, Deers decide to go for the bottom camp. On the side of Lunara, we see Siphonic Toxin coming in on level 4, so no bonus damage against Shrine minions. Or the Punisher, which is very interesting. So move some wave kill first.
Yeah.
Not so the extra wave too. Better said.
Gooses are waiting for the camp capture on top. Greyman is just confirming it now, while Deers are busy clearing their own camp, which could mean that if they wanted, Gooses could get a head start on that shrine, although it doesn't look like it. So far there's actually just soaking a few extra minions.
I want to delay it here a little bit. Is it? Times stacked up with the minion wave. I think it's fine. Well, we've got top lane, the bruiser camp of Honk Goose is running into the towers now. The towers help clearing this camp. And we've got some damage onto Lunara down here.
She's however safe. She's getting some poke down on Blaze, who's pretty healthy so far. Hook goes out, doesn't catch anyone. The root on Lunara is great. The Junkrat Mines follows up and she's blown. First blood goes over in favor of the Gooses.
Lunara back into the woods. Someone look at the Rexall. Anyways, with this one kill now, Honk is able to establish their position on the point. But we even have Diaz hitting level 7 a little bit earlier than their opponent.
Yep, it's looking like, yep, they get the Punisher and it's the Frozen one. That's arguably the best one because it can disable structures. You don't need a Sylvanas when you have the Frozen Punisher, right, Samu?
Yeah, and some people also say Arcane Punisher is the best one because of those Arcane Sentries dealing massive amounts of damage with just damage. With the Frozen one you can take down the front wall easily usually. So, for this do massive damage on it. We see here one tower going down and the other one. Yeah, it's the front wall falling.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, that Punisher waited. I feel like it was a bit longer than usual before it used its disabling ability. I don't know the precise cooldown of it, but it didn't get too much value in terms of structures, at least not. It wasn't what the Gooses were hoping for there, I reckon.
We got from Blaze on level 7.
Oh, that hook goes out and catches Greymane. There's a triangle followed up from Deckard. Only catches Stitches, however. And no one dies. It's a good situation so far. Sorry, yeah, go on.
No cocktail build from Greymane as he decides to go for a Quicksilver Bullet, so increasing his auto attack range by 1.1. Rather than having those full wave clear.
Yeah, we'll see if that comes into play. And as I was saying, it's a slightly good situation for the Gooses so far, just because they're ever so slightly ahead in next spear thing, especially once they clear that next wave, it will become more apparent, which could leave them with a very narrow window of opportunity when 10 rolls around the corner for them to look for something. But Deckard gets hooked out of position and suddenly he's dead. Stitch is coming out with the play. Well, wait a minute, is he? He is, surely he is. He dies. Come on.
Got some potions.
Oh,
he's getting out
potions
of
for
the top
days.
lane. Also engaged from Lunera rotating in on Blazes. He was dropping very low against Rexar. Also Rexar dropped low, so both had to port back and Lunera was able to capture the top lane. We've got level 10s and we've got the bunker sanctification, so the protection from the two frontliners of Honk criminals. Cross Bullet, Ripfire, and the Stay a While and Listen.
You gotta remember, Stay a While and Listen is a bit... It's kind of a bit like Mosh Pit in the way it can set up for an amazing Ripfire. So we'll keep an eye on that Deckard and see if he gets tremendous value out of that. Stay a while and listen.
Can also set you up for perfect mine on a Strunkrit to pull someone in, and here we see an engage for the top lane. Oh,
Gorge? Okay.
There's the bunker drop.
I don't think that bunker's gonna save you, Blaze. I'm sorry. He's staying alive, like he's putting up a valiant fight, but it's just hopeless for him.
Wanted to charge away, but Stitches was like nom 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 nom. You do not charge from away, nom nom. But the next try in the top
in a bit of trouble. Although that was a brilliant mind from him, pushing back the narrow and letting him survive. You gotta remember,
bottom, we've got some nice pushing from Honko's criminals in the meantime as they are looking to take down the floor.
Cheeky move.
Here's immediately reacting, looking at top 4 as well. Their own. He's taking down the fountain now, gives him the very good advantage for the shrine now, as the opponent are not able to go for a pre-tap.
Unfortunately, a slight mistake when Blaze got picked up. He used bunker and it's not quite back. There's another 10 seconds, which means his team has to wait a bit before they fight because bunker's such a major group.
Blaze is eaten again. There's the root.
Stitches is very low.
Listen, Stitches goes down. There's signification coming down as well. Another nervous spot, but there's the sleeping strike. Getting here into safety. Big sleep bomb combo from Kelfus. A lot of damage. Azukan on the Blaze now has to run away, but Misha goes down to 2-for-1. Oh, they engage onto the Kelfus, but the bomb is able to take down the Blaze here. Bedonian leaping strikes into the opponents for Lunera.
What a
kill against Blaze, but also kills herself.
Very scrappy fight. That we saw a very decent actually it was quite great sleep for mana just when Blaze and what's his face Greymane committed for the kill. That's letting him get another round of abilities off. And Junkrat's falling low. Misha's potentially dead again. We'll see more animal abuse. Please, can we see hashtag stop the Misha abuse in the chat? As the Gooses look to set themselves up for a second Punisher in a row.
Very well done this fight from Honko's Criminals there. And with this Mortar Punisher, I mean it will be played over by Stitches now. They have no stun really to follow up on that one.
On the bright side, Diaz are very close to 13, so they're going to be even talents after they kill that Punisher. They could look for something in case the Gooses overextend.
Possibly that the Goose are looking for something that we could jump onto Stitches. There is the Cursed Wallet. The Furo on the Stitches on the run.
Yep, Stitches, however, quite tanky. He is not afraid to go back in, jump a bite off of that Punisher and get half of his health back. Gets a hook on Terror, gorges in, but unfortunately the Punisher's jump comes off cooldown and stuns him, preventing him from getting that Terror behind the wall there. Lunara's behind the whole enemy team, question mark?
Yeah, we've got the Boars coming in. Lunara really walking around. He's safe.
Doing Lunara. I think Blazes engages, but I think that was a bit of a miscommunication on his part. His team is not ready to follow up. Bonka saves him for now, and Hook doesn't connect. No one dies. Very well.
So Pyroblast was interrupted because of Blaze sprinting out of range.
I mean, I guess we see the point of that level 1 talent now. If you get Pyroblasted, you just run away.
Can you also just take the field? Tola in the meantime now getting Pyroblasted. Yep.
I don't think he's getting away from that one. Nope.
That was Pyroblast into Junkrat's face, which is really tremendous. Just goes down there.
Yep, it lets Diaz safely capture that siege camp, start getting more structure damage in mid, and that's where the next Punisher is going to be. So if they can get the gate down, they can potentially either A, clear the fall very easily, or in case the Gooses try defending, they can just follow up on the Punisher engage.
That was one of the Pyroblasts, even though Pyroblast itself is usually called the...
Oh, that fishing hook! Oh, that tickled Blazes. Oh, well, backside.
Well, was close.
Put it that way.
Usually Pyroblast is called the Versal. Certainly Phoenix on this map is amazing for the zone control around the void. But in return, this Pyroblast was very well executed because else I don't think they would have gotten the kill against Junkrat.
No, but he certainly looked like he was getting away up until that Pyroblast went off. And it's looking at the XP and the kills, it's a very even game right now. I think we're going to see a major fight coming down for the next shrine, which could possibly decide how that late game is going to be paced, as both teams move around the map very safely to clear camps and soak that extra bit of XP.
So we see Lonar working on the siege camp here for the blue team. Shrine will be in the mid lane where both teams already lost the wall, but the fountain is still standing. Fishing hook misses there. Good from Junkrat, by the way, on level 13, gotta trap them all. So the double traps coming in for him.
And next objective coming up, 20 seconds. The Gooses are looking for their Bruiser camp, which unfortunately for the Deers, their camp is on cooldown because the enemy team stole it from them just a while ago. So a lot of pressure on top lane for the Gooses. If they can play around that, they could potentially get a favorable engagement on the objective.
Bruiser camp with 2 catapults now pairing up, which is actually quite threatening for the king if it's not being defended.
Yeah, it looks like the Deers are looking for a fight. Blaze is tanking a lot of damage, but he's fine because the Sanctification. And Bunker's still up.
Very early communication news there though. Healing coming in, the board, and Lunara jumping on Junkrat face, pulling in a lot of trouble.
The hook lands on him, oh!
And there's the Nano Boost Pyroblast against the Grey Main, but will the Pyro...
No.
But still on the half-life.
Meanwhile, Lunara's in a lot of trouble. She is hopping away to freedom, apparently. Good job, Lunara. And that top camp is becoming a problem very quickly for the Deers. They can, of course, react to it right now, but...
Already took down the front wall, which was left from the Punisher before. now Lunera is there to deal with the Shaman of the Blue Camp.
So Diaz are gonna finally get a Punisher. Let's see what they can do with it. I mean, Mythord's gone. That much is clear. Are they going to push for keep? That's the question.
In the meantime, we've got Yosh in the chat posting we are casting a Dragal game over on the Heroes Launch 2 if you're interested in seeing Dragal being played by Encore against Lucky Play. But the Arcane Punisher now for Deers coming in probably will take on at least the front, the court. It's getting
nice fade actually from Tyrell. The bunker comes down protecting the Blaze. The boss get a brilliant hit on the backline. Everyone is slowed.
Has to jump in behind the wall. Boss, the Punisher is about to be defended. Fishing hook hits the float minion.
Value right there. And it looks like Goose wanna chase. Blaze finds Lunara in a bad position, and Greymane commits. She is out of the pack, however. Nice jump. Unfortunately, she lands in a very bad position.
The holy crown showing her off, and then
oh.
the tier 1 listen. Well done there from the side of Honk with Crimson. Now they're looking at the top lane, looking to push that.
Yeah. Heap is open, wide open. It looks like Lunara in the chat. She is not happy with those Decker stuns.
Yes, as we see Horadic Staff coming in from him on level 6, so his auto tech stun. Which is actually quite annoying for a hero like Lunara when she goes in with Bleeding Strikes.
Goose is moving for the key. Keltas is back in base to defend. As the person with the most wave clear, you should be able to get some minions down, but that doesn't seem to matter as Tero is brave enough to just tank the keep and then get out.
There's the hook against Blaze. No, bunker is up though.
Is it gonna help him though? I don't think it's gonna help him. He's making the right choice of not using it this time around.
The rest of his team back up already. Yeah, at this point of the game you can use bunker.
Oh yeah, because the death time is long enough, so it doesn't matter.
Depends on if you want to die earlier or faster. I think in this moment it would be okay to try to delay your deaths. The team has time on the map to soak some experience and get closer to 20.
Yeah, very good point. As we see, the Goose is moving in for that bottom siege camp. The immediate response from Diaz, like if they've been caught up a few more seconds in the base, they wouldn't have been able to contest that. But Holy Ground, good ability. Stitches is very much so in the face of the enemy team. He eats a cursed player, but he doesn't seem to give a toss.
Blaze does not have a soul, by the way, okay? Now we've got Duke against Deckard. There's the sleep shot, there's the Pyroblast, and goodbye Deckard. That is a deletion.
No. No amount of potions are gonna save you there, unfortunately. And that confirms level 20 for Diaz, just a bit ahead of time. Just as an objective suppose, that's fortunate timing for Diaz as far as I'm concerned. Stitches is looking for a hook. I think he knows that Greymane is a bit out of position. No, it's just a camp play. Which I'm not sure how viable it is against Holy Ground. It's a bit of an early Holy Ground.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, a lot of people on Tyrell throw those Trust is very early and don't get the Holy Ground off. There we also have the mine and the Holy Ground! Is it? He pays for life.
No worth whatsoever, I don't think. Because that shrine is up now and it's just practically a free shrine for Diaz at this point in the 5v4 situation.
Tyrell is set for 40 seconds. As you said, this should be a free shrine for Diaz. See how Honk with criminals decide to react on the map in the meantime. And from it looks Kramen going for the siege camp in the mid lane.
There's not much else they could do. I guess they could have right-clicked mid-4, but you'd argue that's a bit of a dangerous choice, and I would agree with you. Because you never know when Diaz could decide to rotate 4 people and just catch you off guard while you're tanking shots from that fort.
In the return, we saw Diaz looking at the top fort in the meantime. Another rotating towards the mid lane, there's the rotation being caught by the Junkrat mine. And they're starting to harp back and be in position to defend the top. Punisher.
Indeed, and it's another mortar Punisher, so like you said earlier, that's a lot of damage. Top keep, very much so in danger.
Punisher, no. Coming in. And okay, Blaze tried to bait him over. Mishunted a little bit.
Punisher getting baited behind the wall. That's a decent amount of time that the Gooses have in order to take that Punisher down while the wall is getting destroyed. It looks like the Punisher's gonna die. The keep might stand alive. Oh no, I stand corrected. That keep is gone, and so is the Punisher. Certainly, we could be looking at a 5v5 situation here if the Gooses decide to chase. Misha a bit of out of position. Are we gonna see more animal abuse? Oh, that charge, not quite hidden there. Holy Ground comes in though.
Misha being slowed down all the time, and she's not able to escape here.
Not that it matters that much, but hey, it's a moral victory.
Aw, me sad that Misha has to die. Now, how we see the teams moving on the map, the team in red looking at the mid lane so far. Top lane now catapults are equal, so both teams can shoot them up. Both teams get a
Very
catapult
even
every
game.
lane.
Stitches looks for another hit. Grey main dodges with a decent amount of space there. And at this point, I think we just might see one major fight deciding the outcome of this whole series.
The constant use of the word Goose is starting to annoy me.
Okay, let's switch to
Goose. Right, GC.
Honk.
You can also say DC or something like that. Fine. Meantime, we've got the Bruiser camp is about to be taken by deers. This for one there.
Yep, and HGC are looking like they want to actually contest that camp. Zero Holy Ground still an option. Here comes that sword out. It's a bit early again, but
Should be fine this time as they're pushing them off their point. Also, they have the mine laying around here.
Blaze gets snatched up by Stitches, however, and there's still a 4 here to slow him down. Of course, he might get in keep range. Not quite. Bunker comes out, protects him for a while. Just enough time for Tiro to get the sanctification now, yeah? And Riptas coming in to turn around this fight, but Tiro is already very low.
Well, it's keep in mind it's Turo.
Oh,
Version
almost value from that passive, but not quite.
It's 2 kills for deers against the criminals.
Let's see what the DS opt to do with 2 people advantage right now. I mean, they're not capitalizing too much on it so far. Of course, keep in mind they had to defend top because that was 4 catapults and a bruiser camp. It's not what you want to have hitting your core at the 22nd minute mark.
That would be very scary. In the getting some damage in, but in the meantime we had HGC taking their siege camp. And we also have deers taking down siege camp. Even with those 2 kills for deers. 3 reptiles, 1 team fight. That is extra oomph in a nutshell. Because then everyone is dead. The 3 reptiles normally. But not this fight.
Yep. Blaze is back up, and this is shaping up to be another 5v5 around the shrine, potentially deciding the outcome of those series.
So we've got 20 seconds on Pyroblast and 10 seconds on Sanctification, and we have both all ultimates up for both teams.
Deciding the shrine a bit earlier, picking up 15 Guardians already, which is a hefty lead. Another hook lands on Greymane, potentially the biggest hook of the game we've seen.
By Greymane, that's just value right there. And now plays very far down, but so is Lunera. Lunera though,
yep,
with
Lunera.
the speed trying to run away. There's the Pyroblast coming
she just
in.
runs out. Oh wow, that was that necessary?
Yes, it was, actually.
Fair enough, yeah, it's late into the game. Pyroblast deals a lot of damage, doesn't it?
Pyroblast scales by 4.5% per level, I think.
Yep, enough to be dangerous. There is a small opportunity here for the Honkies criminals to look for a 3v3 or a 3v4 while Kyota's in the base defending. Because that Punisher is going to be very scary. They didn't opt to take it. Depending on that 5v5 defense, and perhaps they're looking to bait the Punisher towards the bottom keep, which I wouldn't be surprised to see. Let's just see if Stitches finds yet another godly hook. It's looking like he's looking for one. Yeah, he gets Junkrat. Here's the hook. Here's the stun. Lunara goes in. Punisher gets in on the action, and that's bye-bye Junkrat.
Now Tyr is also in the middle of them as Stitches forged him, but he's able to do his word of justice and get out, but is it enough to defend?
Another hook. Oh, wow.
Firo! Stop it! It's not nice!
Disgusting hooks.
But also then, Tekka trying to go for the still one listen, the punishment is no. And that is GG. So we have here closing out this game number 3 in this best of 3 series. Will advance towards the next stage of the bracket. Meanwhile, we had on launch 2, we've got the game against Lucky Play against Encore, ending in 2-0 in favor of Lucky Play. Take a short look at the bracket here.
Oh, yep, let's have a look.
So with Deers...
With Deers progressing, they're going to be facing Lucky Play in the quarterfinal stage.
We've got 3 more matches up for today. First of all, we are going to see right here, right now, after a short break, we see Don our Fedoras against Team Hotzi. And after that, we see also here on this channel, we see Deers against Lucky Play. Against winner of those 2 games will face in the grand finals, which will be a best of 5. So make sure you check in for that one, where we've got a legendary caster duo coming in even. In the names of Karis K and Joy K. For time being, was it from us two?
Yep, thank you for having me, Samu. It was great casting with you today. And I'll join you fellow fans in the chat watching the rest of the action today, as we seem to have some very interesting games coming up.
Also, we've got the raid from Heroes launch coming in with 44 viewers. Thank you as well. So I hope you had great games there. Just heard that the game 2 of the last series was an 8-minute game, which is quite interesting.
I must have been a show. Well, I mean, a convincing one.
We are heading into a short break, and then we are back with the next series. Between Team Hotzi and Don our Fedoras. So, thank you for watching so far, and I hope you will have fun with the other cast as well, as we now got 2 games casted by Coffee and Joey K. Bye!
Bye-bye.